What's good? It's your girl Amani Caesar.
Serious Smoke.
Boy, Dre, they forever, baby.
Brian Reeves, Director of 70 times 7.
Man, it's your boy, Artist.
The girl Tasia's name. Girl named Masam.
Young Spook, one half back in business podcast.
Era, the Gap 2 Diva.
Big stuff.
Are you Milan? Here, Milan.
It's your girl, Flaming Gina.
This Auntie P again.
Boy, Lou.
Ebony, aka Ebony with an I. I'm from the Big Head Radio Show, and I'm
With the King Teeth Network, huh?
And we're back. This is the King Teeth Network. I have a friend of mine who has been working for a very long time, comedian, author, writer, still Bizz in the building.
What's up? What's up?
How
What's
are you,
up?
man?
I'm good.
So we got a lot to get through because you've done a lot.
Okay.
You've been able to do a lot in your career. You've been able to expand into different. So you're in the entertainment industry as a comedian, but then you are an author. You're a writer. I mean, you've been able to grow a fan base and keep it. So shout out to you for that, man.
Thank you.
So where I want to start is, when did you want to become a comedian?
Well, I never thought oh, I would love to be a comedian. I just remember growing up and everybody just thinking that I was funny. I would say stuff and people be laughing, and I'd be like, "What's so funny?"
Yeah.
But then, living in a house with I had two older brothers, and I had my other brother. He's really funny. My dad's funny too.
Okay.
If you can understand him, my father. I'm from Jamaica, so strong accent.
So all the way from Jamaica, man.
Yeah. So growing up, people always said, "You funny." And then I remember when I was in high school, I won most humorous. And
Did you really?
Yeah, I won most humorous, most talkative.
Oh, so you been
just been telling jokes. My funny thing is, I went to college and they had a superlative thing, and I won the same two things.
Really?
Yeah, most humorous, most talkative. I remember doing little comedy shows back in college. And it was different back then because you didn't have to really have a structure.
Oh, you can just go up there.
Just go up there and just talk crap and just
be good.
And be good, and people just be like,
Got you.
Yeah.
So how has the scene changed then?
Since then, people are more sensitive now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's back then we were able to say things that was actually what we felt, or not even what we felt, because sometimes what you feel is not always right. But we were, for lack of better words, we were actually to say more of anything that we felt, no matter how hurting it might be. It might be to somebody else. Now, I do look back and I do think that sometimes, because we're not really too big on the psychological effects on things that we do.
Absolutely.
And as
Long-term effect,
and as black people, we don't really, it's about church more so than science at times. I do look back at some stuff that I've said about people. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could apologize for this.
Really?
Certain things. Now, certain things are just jokes. Sometimes I feel like we want it both ways. Sometimes. Too.
Yeah.
Now, when I really look at how the things that people get upset about, it's like we want it both ways. And when I say we want it both ways, what I mean is kind of every little thing that someone says is offensive to someone. And I do understand things being offensive, but there's certain things that even if you don't understand it, if it's something I don't understand and it's offensive, then teach me.
Right.
But to cancel me for something I don't know makes absolutely no sense. And I see a lot of that going on now.
Absolutely.
People because you have to be sensitive to people, but you have to understand what you're being sensitive about. So,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
I saw, for instance, the word that Lizzo said in a song, and it was
that got her almost canceled.
Well, she had to apologize because it's called, the word is spaz, and it says it's something in regards to individuals that are dealing with mental health issues. Now, I didn't know that.
I didn't know it
But
either.
then when I read further, I came to understand that that's a word that's used in the UK. So me being, and her, for instance, probably being somebody that don't understand, because we think spaz out, we just think just going crazy. But we didn't understand that. So it's kind of like, a lot of times, and because of social media, because it's such a
Everybody knows so somebody gonna know.
Yeah, and social media is so large. It's kind of like, and it's mind controlling. It kind of like, and it's really driven off algorithms. What makes you mad? What makes you happy? What makes you sad?
Yes.
You know, it's a confusing way of thinking.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't really want to get too much.
But we got into that. So comedy came first, naturally, and then was it the books or was it the writing of scripts and TV?
It was the
like
books, but I feel like I still have a lot of work to do with the book, as far as like writing, because I just decided I wanted to write. But I think that sometimes when you do certain things, I mean, I did go to school and I have a bachelor in communications with a minor in journalism.
Okay.
But I think that sometimes we don't study the art of what we're doing, and we just feel like we're just doing it. I feel like sometimes I should have studied the art of, because I got a better editor. Shout out to Carmen Jones to edit my second book so I could publish the book.
So what are your books? What is your first book?
First book was Blackened. It's a story about a boy from Jamaica and his coming of age in the Midwest. And
moving to America.
Moving to America. It's loosely based. It's fictional, despite what my family says.
That's a whole nother story.
Yeah, it's a whole other story. And then the second book is Resentment. It's more of a relationship book, but it's fictional. It's about a woman that grew up without her dad, and she has resentment towards men. And it's about her set group of friends. Her name's Danielle. Then there's Anisha and Candace. Then her friend Anisha has a boyfriend, Romel, and his core group. Well, his core group is just Malik, who is his best friend, and it's about both groups dealing with relationships.
Okay.
And maneuvers. Now Danielle comes to meet Malik later, and then her past start coming into play. You know what I'm saying? But I made sure there were very successful Black people in the book, because there's a lot of different types of us, but there is a strong subculture of us, and we're all subcultures. Like
right.
Being Black in America there's different types of subcultures of Black people. You know what I'm saying? And it's created based on one culture for people that's moved from one place to another. But there's a lot of different types of subcultures in America. We're all not hood.
Right.
We're all not everybody. Some people didn't go to college.
Right.
Some people did go to college.
Right.
Some people like fine arts. Some people like rap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like bringing all those different things together when you write. Like, that's the type of thing that I want to do. And in that book, I made sure I put all the characters. They were all like the main character. She's a lawyer. The guy Malik, he's into real estate and different types of business ownership.
That's dope.
Then
That you made it a point to show us in the best lights, even though we got to go through some shit in the book.
yeah, and I put the church in there too. Like,
okay, because you told us before that you grew up in the church.
Yeah, I grew up in the church. My father, a Pentecostal minister.
So how did that influence you?
How did that influence me? I don't know. I said,
I don't know.
I said, I don't know. No, let me go
Daddy
back to
gonna kill you.
No. How it influenced me as far as, and it's not even just my father being a Pentecostal preacher and being in the church. It has to do with my relationship with my father.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Who has a good relationship with God, who taught me a relationship with God.
Wow.
And
that's beautiful.
And I feel that what it has always taught me, that doing the right thing, even if you don't feel it right then and there, you're going to feel it later. That is okay, because I watched my father become a good man. Yeah, and respected, and people respect him. And he's not somebody that say he practiced what he preached. Yeah, I've seen that over the years. He's not perfect, right? But he practiced what he preached, and then he has a good woman behind him that actually is a strong backbone in his life, which is my mother. That's amazing. So I got a good opportunity in life to see a well-structured household, even though me and my brothers are not perfect and things happen and we do have our own adversities and different things in our life, but I know that my father is very set in being the great man that he.
That's amazing to be able to even see that.
Yeah,
because that's a lot of our problems.
And it takes
it
takes a lot. Yeah, and it takes a lot to see it. And I don't take away from anybody that's never seen that, because a lot of times black people, we do that. Just like I just said that, and I'm not saying all black people, but a lot of us do that because it's not our walk, it's not our struggle, it's not something we went through. It's wrong, or it's not as relevant.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, it's not as relevant because it's not something. Because if something is not hard sometimes, and it's not a whole adverse situation, sometimes as black people we'd be like, well, that you grew up soft, or you grew up, you know what I'm saying, or you grew up with some type of structure that ain't, you know, that ain't the struggle. But it's like
you have your own struggles.
Yeah, everybody still go through things. And everybody still have, and I grew up in the hood too. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the hood, and
that's another subculture. That subculture stuff you was talking, I love that, because now that you think about it, a subculture is black kids with fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a whole subsection in itself.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, and these subcultures, they try to be dominant and try to dominate different subcultures and try to make it seem like
the other ones are bad.
And I feel like that's unfair.
Absolutely,
because it's all that is about strong voice, and people monetize off of it.
Yeah,
and I'm not, because I don't want to get into the whole CNN and Fox, because
he get deep.
Yeah, because
hey, check his page out. Go ahead, shout your page out real quick.
My page. I done got.
Look.
Yeah, my page is Still Bizz, STELBIZZ on Instagram,
and he be going in.
Yeah, and because I just feel like we are so structured to think a certain way.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, I remember
it's obvious now.
It's so obvious. It's very obvious that we're structured to think a certain way. I remember somebody got mad at me because I posted that I listened to Kanye's album. When Kanye album, and you remember when everybody was hating Kanye because Kanye was doing the whole thing with Trump, and all that, and it's kind of like, it's like to the point now where politics is making people feel like they want to kill other people, over, and it's always been like that, but it's kind of like, I think that living in America, we have two different political parties. They're different. They're more than two different political parties, but we have two strong political parties. We have Republicans and we have Democrats, and I feel like, we have conservatives and we have liberals.
Yeah.
And I feel like the one thing that both groups want, if you think about it, the one thing that both groups want is a better way for mankind.
Yeah.
And if you have these common ideas, because I feel like we need both, because I think that even though I'm not a conservative, but conservatism does bring structure.
Yeah.
And it does bring a great way to structure. And being a liberal does bring a good thing to human kindness.
Does it?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten deep into politics yet.
Yeah, being a liberal, and that's not even just politics. That's the psychology of human beings.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So being liberal and letting people be able to express themselves how they express themselves, actually adds to human kindness. And you need both, but they both be fighting against each other. They be fighting against each other that they don't pay attention to what's really going on. And then you got CNN and you got Fox, and Fox is conservative news, which is just like, sometimes it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you got CNN, which is liberal news. And at CNN, you see, if you black, you can't walk outside, they're gonna gun you down, they're gonna kill you.
Wow.
And then you watch on Fox, racism doesn't exist.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it's just too confusing for you to even deal with the real problem.
Right.
Because they try. It's a part of the brainwashing. And then you have one person that's telling these.
Don't get me canceled, goddamn.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't go too deep.
I'm sorry, but that's just been.
I'm gonna be like, what do you say?
That's just been my views.
Get him down.
That's just been my views over the last. Just growing up and just realizing how things are, and I love this democracy that we live in, because you know what, you get an opportunity to see your worth.
Yeah,
you get an opportunity
absolutely.
To see your worth. You get to work harder. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Living in a democracy. You know what I'm saying, I wouldn't want to deal with no other type of government. Even
Wow.
Even though how hard it is, man. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it was hot when I first came in this.
No, real shit. You gotta look. You gotta have them ACs. You gotta make sure you
be able to pay for them.
Be able to pay for them, but actually have the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing about all of this. Like you said, being in a democratic. Never gonna say these words right, but just being in an environment where you're able to see your own worth and create your own worth.
Right.
Out of nowhere is an opportunity in itself that people don't take advantage of a lot, and then other people take too much advantage of. I think. I
mean, you're right, and I see it every day. That because it's amazing that we're able to like even watching content creators on like social media and see how people have grown. Everybody shouldn't be a content creator, but some people would not know that they had that skill if there wasn't such thing as social media. So that's that back and forth. Is social media bad? Is social media good? But everything is bad and everything is good. You know, so everything have two sides to it. And I love watching it. The thing about writing too, and writing these books and talking to people, because you know me, because I talk to a lot of people, and I think that talking to people for me is studying, because you learn about the psychology of people through conversation with them, and it helps you write because you actually know how people talk, how people think. I think it's a part. It's like the reason why I talk to a lot of people, because it's a generic class. Yeah. It's a generic like way of me learning. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's what these interviews are. I learn every time I sit down with somebody.
Like when I talk to people, I'll be like, I never, and then sometimes it helps you figure out who crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
and I shouldn't use the word crazy, because I know that's
look, if we're not canceled yet.
Yeah. Because I know it's probably like,
just wait on it.
It's not a politically correct term to actually use.
Right.
But but it helps you to understand people better when you're able to talk to people. Some people don't like talking to people, and that's fine, because that is a part of how you learn your characteristic, your personality, because every personality actually is important. A good book, real quick, good book that I read is the Surrounded by Idiots. Where it
who?
Surrounded by Idiots. I cannot remember the name of the author. I read it so long ago, but it's
Surrounded by.
Surrounded by Idiots, and I think I read more than one of this author's book. I'm gonna look it up, and because I posted it on Instagram after I read it, because every book that I read, I post on Instagram.
Would you start a book club?
And I had a book club. Yeah. Too. You remember when I had the book club?
Damn, that was like 2019.
Yeah, and then and then they told us we could go back outside, and I was like, book club done. That was during COVID. I remember people was like, yeah, we gonna do relationship books. I was like, I don't really like them books, but anyway, book club done, because we can't say we could go back outside.
Right.
But Surrounded by Idiots is by it's by Thomas Erickson.
Okay.
Thomas Erickson. And what I was saying about the book is it actually tells you about these different personalities. Like people like me that like to talk to other people. It talks about how they work together. Like, have you ever met somebody and you don't like them, like when you were in school and you were younger? And you had your friends that you like, and y'all would look at them like they're weird, they're stupid. You don't like them. What's wrong with them? That's because you and your friends had the same personalities.
Right.
And that's why y'all didn't understand those people.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't understand those people. And you condemn those people because it's something that you don't know.
Yeah.
Something.
Immediately almost.
Yeah, and you don't know. But that's their personality. And they look at you like, I don't get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But understanding psychology and growing up, you understand that those people do exist and different types of people exist. And you learn better how to work with different types of people. Because even doing the show that we're doing.
Are we going into the writing now?
We're going into the writing. Yeah.
Let's get it. Come on.
Okay, the lick.
He's a big writer now.
Yeah, so I'm writing on the lick, and I'm helping direct on the lick, and even like working on the lick. And I helped on the I was a writer and co-director on the Cap too. Even with working.
Shout out to Smooth.
Shout out to Smooth Gotti, and shout out to Johnny Lumpkin, Darius, Rick. Gunna, different. A lot of people I want to shout out because they gave me opportunities to actually work with them. But
how did that happen?
Well, let me start from the beginning.
Let's go.
The beginning is a long time ago. First person I want to shout out is Nazy.
Okay, what they do?
Nazy Nay. I met her. She met me.
Yeah, I know her.
Okay.
She about to be on my show.
Yeah,
you better hurry up.
Yeah. She met me on Instagram. That's my girl. I love her.
I know, I love her.
She met me on Instagram and told me to come down to the station because she wanted to interview me. Mm-hmm. And then eventually we started doing a show together.
Ooh.
And it was good. It did, but we used to get numbers. No lie, we used to get numbers. Like some of the people that, let me see, like Philip and Philippe, Mike Berry.
Shout out Mike Berry. He about to drop again.
Johnny Filmworks.
Shout out to Johnny.
Like certain people that I used to bring, because I know a lot of people in the city.
Yeah.
And I bring them on the show, and we used to get numbers. So she met me, and then we started working together. Then I decided to go do something different. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was like on Sundays, but it was no hard feelings. I was just like,
just moving on.
I just wanted to move on, to focus more on stuff that I want to do myself. Then I met another guy named T. Kimmy from Instagram.
Okay.
And none of these people, I ain't trying to pump myself up, but all these people sought me out. Like so,
shout out to you.
So he
but you have built a real fan base.
So he sought me out. So I started working with them, working with people like T. Moore, which I later started doing a show with T. Moore. I actually after meeting Nazy, I started doing a show with T. Moore and. It was a bunch of other people. Tamika Barnes was on the show. Mm-hmm. So then I stopped doing that show. Mm-hmm. And then somebody reached out to me, Peacock, reached out to me on Instagram to say I should do comedy. Started doing comedy. Me and Peacock worked together fine. The reason why I'm taking a break from comedy right now, because people don't understand that comedy is hard.
Right.
Comedy is hard, and it's not that I can't do it.
And to keep doing it?
Yeah, it's not that I can't do it. It put a big psychological load on me.
Did it?
That I kind of like. I remember when we used to do shows, and people like, that show was amazing. And it was just so much for me. Like, I would just go home. And because they'd be like, yo, we about to go kick it. I remember I just started to the point where I would tell them.
Just go home.
Because everybody wanted to go out after the show. And I'd be like, I'll meet y'all. Yeah, I'm like, that was a lot. I stood in front of y'all for an hour. Yeah. I had to write out this show. Mm-hmm. I had to study this show for a week. No, for 2 weeks to a month. Mm-hmm. I had to study this whole show because I did like shows, like I did like signature shows where it was my show, and I have like somebody else that would come in. Shout out to everybody else that have ever done the show with me. And they used to be fun, but they got a little draining. And I want to do comedy again. Mm-hmm. It's just that I'm taking time to like write and do more behind the scene things right now because I want to see my creativity in a different way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, shout out to you for that. Shout out to you for all the endeavors as far as author, writer, directing. Did you ever think you were going to be a director?
No. But
so how's that experience been for you?
It's been good. It's just that you got to learn how to deal with different people, different personalities, and
there go back to that book.
And it's not saying that they're bad, because that's the thing that we do as human beings. We look at everything as bad and good. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's always the case. Right. I think it's personality based. Absolutely. And I think it's just like this person, because it's like as soon as somebody do something outside, and we unconsciously do it, as soon as somebody do something outside of something we would have done, we like, oh, I can't really, this person, but we got to start looking at it deeper than that and understand why they do it. Because black people, we have this word that we like to use, and not just black people, people in the certain subculture that a lot of us are in, like to use the word hater. Yeah. And sometimes it's not really hating, it's just difference. Sometimes it actually is hating. People do be hating. But sometimes different reactions to different things and different ways of dealing with things is just different. Yeah, it's just those it's people just are different. That somebody just doesn't understand this, or they don't, or they don't have an idea on how, they don't have this certain respect for how you do certain things. Right. Because they have a different way
of doing it.
They're doing it, and some people
But
just.
you do have to respect everybody's opinion in the way they go about their lives, because it's 10,000 ways to do this life. You know what I'm saying? There's a million ways to do this life, and not every way is right. Don't get me wrong. But if it's not hurting you or hurting somebody else, you kind of got to just let people do what they do.
Yeah, and you have to like get to that point because you start becoming more at peace with yourself.
Absolutely.
When you start doing that, like the best inner peace that you can find is when you're comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And it allows you to accept more and just be respectful more of other people.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because
100%.
everything ain't here for me to understand.
No.
But I can still get a better understanding.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because if
time.
If I'm not learning every day though,
what am I doing?
I'm not doing anything. It's time to go.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I just have to get a better understanding, better grip on everything.
Absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate you. But before we get out of here, man, we got to do one thing.
What?
It's called Get It Off Your Chest. So I need you to say something that you've been wanting to say but haven't said it. And I need you to say it in the most funniest way possible. Go.
Man.
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
No, but it's called Get It Off Your Chest. And basically that's just, before we see you again, before we have you back on the King Teeth Network, we just want you to be able to get anything and everything that you want to get off your chest to your supporters, to your fans, to the people that be hating, to the people that don't understand you. Whatever you need to say, get it off your chest.
I just think that we just all need to realize that we have people that are around us that are supportive people, and we need to treat those people respectfully. And we need to understand who those people are, and we need to realize who those people are, because you don't want to, you don't really want to, once you realize who those people are, you don't want to question it too much and be too much of an investigator.
Right.
Because sometimes you damage the relationships that you have. If they're not really messing up nothing that you got, nothing that you're doing, stop questioning it. Just run with it. You ain't got to do everything they say, but build that good relationship and keep things going.
Factual. That's beautiful, man. I appreciate you. We're going to have you back. I actually got a few ideas for you. If you want to do them, we're going to talk about them off camera. But yeah, man, I ain't want to keep this too long because you can because we can get into some shit. We can get into pocket.
Probably get canceled.
And probably get canceled a few times, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? If we ain't getting canceled, we ain't popping for real. Yeah. So shout out to you. Shout out to everything you got going. Good luck on The Lick. Season 2 coming.
Yeah, The Lick.
They ain't got no date, but they saying around August.
Real quick, The Lick is the best cast that I've worked with.
I agree. Well, I don't know the cast all like that.
I shouldn't say that, but like, right now, The Lick is the best cast because other casts have been great and other people I've worked with. But I have like this. It's this thing about working with The Lick. Like it's been
beautiful.
It's been trying times sometimes. Yeah. But if things ain't trying, then ain't nothing going on. And I don't mean trying like we arguing. I just mean that we all have ideas. And we like, dude, no, use my idea. No, I want to use your idea. You know what I'm saying? Those are the tries. Yeah, it's just I just appreciate this opportunity to work with them.
Well, that's amazing, man. And we are on the lookout. We cannot wait for The Lick to return. We cannot wait for the cap to be released. Did y'all finish that?
The cap is coming. The cap is coming.
Is it shot? Is it shot already, or do you have to finish the shit?
Yeah, it's already shot. The cap is
okay. So it's in post production. It's getting there.
And I do appreciate the cap too. It's a great learning experience, and it was beautiful cast, great people to work with. I started with Johnny with Life Lessons before the cap. So me and Johnny go way back. You know,
that's amazing. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Through social media.
Social media. Really.
He was just like, yo, hit me up. Was like, yo, could you be in this movie? Then we met and we talked. He was like, oh, I want you to be a part of the team. So social media actually a good way to network and market.
Real shit.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man.
All right. Peace.